Let's let David Graeber.
Bullshit jobs I define as a job where even the person doing the job secretly believes the job really shouldn't exist. But nonetheless, part of the conditions of employment is that you have to pretend that it does. It's important to distinguish between bullshit jobs and shit jobs. Mostly when you say bullshit jobs, people at first assume you mean jobs that just you don't really want to have. Jobs where they don't pay you well, jobs where they don't pay you well, jobs where you work under difficult or humiliating or onerous conditions. And most of the jobs that are shit jobs actually aren't bullshit jobs. Most of the jobs that oppress you are jobs like cleaners or ditch diggers or nurses, servants of various kinds who are mistreated. At least know they're doing something. Bullshit job is actually kind of the opposite of that. A bullshit job, you're often given a lot of money. You're treated very well with a great deal of respect. Often seen as the person in your family who most made something of yourself. But at the same time, you're secretly haunted by the knowledge that you're not actually doing anything. That if your job didn't exist at all, the world either would change in no way or even might become a slightly better place. This is one of the great mysteries of our time as far as I'm concerned, because we usually associate make-work, stupid made-up jobs with state socialism. In the Soviet Union, they used to say, well, we pretend to work and they pretend to pay us. They make up jobs which are completely unnecessary. That makes sense because they had an ideology of full employment. On the other hand, capitalism, that's exactly the thing that isn't supposed to happen. A private firm would never hire someone and put out good money to someone who they don't actually need. But in fact, if you talk to people who work for large corporations, they do it all the time. How does that happen? I think part of it has to be explained by...
The whole 7 people could do the job of 3 people thing just shows that our workday work week is too long. Human productivity, especially mental labor, drops off pretty quickly throughout the day. 8 hours/40 hours is too many. 100%. 1,000%.
Political pressure. And in a way, just as in the Soviet Union, there was a central directive saying we need full employment. It didn't say, therefore...
This is so clueless. Most jobs are necessary for society to function. Yeah, no, you're right, man. Yeah. No, you're so right. I assume Belt No Road, you are, I'm going to assume that you might be like too young to have actually worked in a real like corporate environment. Yeah, someone said, brother, I sell pop-up ads for dick pills. This topic exposes young chatters so much. And by the way, for the record, I don't have a problem with bullshit jobs. I think they should exist. It's great that it exists. It's busy work. It keeps people's minds occupied. Okay? It's like fake nonsense that we've created together. However, having said that, you should still be paid adequately for it. And you should have more free time. That's the point. Which is why I get mad when companies actually do engage in layoffs like this. Because it's a bullshit job to begin with. And it's your responsibility to at least hire these people, right? God damn, there was a partner streamer, Schizo, posting the hardest. I've never seen someone. Oh my God. That was wild. Chatter is only right in the sense that if all of us with bullshit jobs were unemployed, society would be significantly worse. Yes.
Or make up bullshit jobs, right? But they didn't say don't do it. In a similar way, we have pressure from both the left and the right to create jobs all the time. On the one hand, you have the left saying we need public works, we need more money being given to consumers to stimulate the economy.
Some chatters are the people that aren't trustworthy, and so everyone keeps up the facade around them as well as the bosses. Yeah. Maybe.
On the right, they're saying give money to capitalists and they'll hire people. But the one thing the left and right totally agree on is the solution to all problems is more jobs. But they never say jobs that actually do something. jobs that are worthwhile in any way. It's just assumed that if jobs are created, they will necessarily serve a purpose. And if you don't specify that, if you don't have self.
Do you think calling them bullshit jobs helps with that? Because most right-wingers would agree that they're bullshit and use that as an excuse to lay people off. Yeah, most right-wingers that say that are themselves also working in bullshit jobs, though. That's the point. What are some examples of these jobs? Most white-collar work revolves around this, like a mediator that's supposed to take away some of the bandwidth away from another mediator, It's busy work. We have it all around administrative work. Like most administrative work is like that. Project managers, things of that. It's like additional parts of the corporate bureaucracy that you experience is almost always a job that they just made, right? That's it. Like, no. It's the other jobs that are bullshit jobs. My job is a real job, you see. Yeah. This doesn't mean that you don't actually willingly and legitimately actually participate in a project, for example, in a meaningful way. This doesn't mean that your output is meaningless. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. Of course, like ultimately you're working on a project. You go and work for Ogilvy or OMD or a marketing firm of sorts, right? And you sit there all day. You got me playing in the background, and you kind of wait for the person above you in the ladder to give you a task, okay? The task that you need to complete is oftentimes going to be like something that you can do with 10 minutes to 20 minutes of research. But of course, you do that research over the course of a long period of time. That person got another job from another boss up the corporate ladder, and that person got another job off the boss from another corporate ladder. Like, it's just like mediators all the way down to you, the new associate working at working at a marketing firm, right? I wouldn't say IT is a BS job where needed. Oh my God. Don't get me started, okay? My job is to sit there and tell you to turn the computer on and off. This doesn't mean that it's not a valuable service that you're providing, okay? It just means that, like, oftentimes many of your work much of your work could be delegated out to like a couple different people. Corporations know this, but their upsizing and their downsizing specifically is about, under at least a financialized capitalist structure, is completely about market conditions and completely about what their stock is going to look like. That's it. Don't worry about that guy. IT workers have the most delicate egos on the planet. This doesn't mean that like Twitter is a great example of this. Twitter currently operates on a skeleton crew, right? That's the first thing that Elon Musk did. He went in and he wiped out giant chunks of the platform. Now, is the platform good? Of course not. It genuinely is bad now. It's significantly worse, but does it still exist? Yes, it does. Do you understand? That's a perfect demonstration of like the elimination of redundancy and what that does to a company in the long term. Okay?
Conscious policy of trying to make sure that jobs actually do something, you're going to end up with useless make work. It's just going to happen. A lot of bosses, people who hire people, just get very angry at me about this. They're about the only people who get angry at this premise. They say, look, I would never hire someone if they didn't serve a purpose. This is just stupid, insulting. You don't understand how capitalism works. But bosses are the last people to know what's really going on. I trust people to understand what they're really doing, or at least if anybody does, they will.
Buckminster Fuller has a great quote about bullshit jobs. His promises are worth the 1 minute read. We should do away with the absolutely specious notion that everybody has to earn a living. It is a fact today that 1 in 10,000 of us can make a technological breakthrough capable of supporting all the rest. The youth of today are absolutely right in recognizing this nonsense of earning a living. We keep inventing jobs because of this false idea that everybody has to be employed at some kind of drudgery. because according to Malthusian Darwinian theory, he must justify his right to exist. So this is like, for the record, this is like so over the top peak slash anti-work theory at this point that it's like frustrating people probably when they approach the subject from this perspective. The thing is, I am a firm believer in bullshit jobs. I think they should exist. Make work is good. That's my take. Do you understand? Make work is good. It is not a bad thing. Kaya. Place. Hey. Place. Enough of your madness. Be a good girl, not a bad girl. She has a real job, not a bullshit job. Okay? The true business of people should be to go back to school and think about whatever it was they were thinking. Oh, sorry. So we have inspectors of inspectors and people making instruments for inspectors to inspect the inspectors. The true business of people should be to go back to school and think about whatever it was they were thinking about before somebody came along and told them they had to earn a living. Anyway. Dogs never want to work anymore. I know. Wasn't Graeber an anarchist also? It sounds very much in line with that thought. Yes, it is. Isn't one of the core themes of leftist economics that people should be paid for their labor? How is eliminating labor really leftist? No, this is a different attitude. I still think that there should be, I don't have a problem with bullshit jobs because I think that it's all, for the most part, it's all made up. I just want those bullshit jobs to be more comfortable. But also, on top of that, if you don't, you shouldn't have to work a bullshit job to survive. The irony is that shit jobs are significantly more important, although they are seen as more replaceable, more easily replaceable than the bullshit jobs. Those shit jobs are actually a necessity for society to function adequately. So there's that other part of this process as well.